Part 13. The Strongest Assassin in the Server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 121. System, you have discovered the Minotaur tribe. A flash of white light, Ye Chen led everyone to the hell-level dungeon, and the goblin slaves rushed towards them. Elite-level slaves. Budong and Shita followed and took the damage and hatred. Then, Ye Chen, Lantong, and Xiaoqi rushed out quickly, together with the firepower support from the back row, and took away these slave elites in one wave. Dream World has been launched for a while. After a long period of exploration, everyone has gradually become familiar with the mechanism of this game, their strength has gradually increased, and their cooperation with each other will become smoother and smoother. This is the quality that elite players should have. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow Yanji Shenyang. When we came to the second room, the difficulty of the hell-level dungeon began to show. Those tall and strong Minotaur soldiers were covered with armor, and Ye Chen could only kill them instantly when he used skills. Ordinary attacks require 3 hits to kill. Even he is like this, Lantong, Xiaoqi, and even the rest of the people, it is even more difficult to deal damage. The later the game goes, the more obvious the situation will be. Of course, in the later stage, the player will have more and more skills, and they can reasonably match the skills to make continuous kills to make up for the lack of damage. Ye Chen's current output skills are Stun, Stab, Throat Slit, Spinning Stab, and Shadow Attack. Among them, Stun, Throat Slit, and Spinning Stab are all high percentage burst skills, while Stun and Shadow Attack are semi-support and semi-output skills. In the later stage, the output damage of these two skills is completely irrelevant. But in the early stage, especially in the hands of Ye Chen, who has a terrifying power foundation, it can still be used to harvest. At this time, he reasonably matched these 5 skills, the first hand with a long CD, the second hand with a short CD, and used ordinary attacks and darts to make up for the knife during the period. Various skills were released in a cycle, and it was also easy to pass this level. At the same time, in order to prepare for Suanwu in the near future, the thief skill, as long as the CD is up, he will throw it out. As for whether the theft was successful, or what he stole after success, he didn't care. In short, it was just to improve his proficiency. When we arrived at the third room, there were huge tents everywhere. The following rooms were the same. These levels are very difficult levels in Tauren tribe. Normal and difficult levels are better. Players can use fire attacks and fuel to set wildfires all the way. However, for expert level and even hell level, fire attacks will not work. Because the monsters have become stronger, you can't kill them in a short time by setting fire. Instead, you will anger them. When they all come out of the tents, hundreds of Tauren or Minotaur soldiers may be wiped out. Therefore, now we can only push through one tent at a time. This is the only way. When we came to the second half of the third room, the small lake full of goblin transformation potion finally appeared. Ye Chen was not in a hurry to transform now, but took out an empty bottle, filled it with spring water, and the team continued to move forward. More than half an hour later, Ye Chen and the others broke through the 6th room. Don't move, it's up to you next. You don't need to target Xiaobo, just kill all those white high-level Minotaurs. Ye Chen instructed, if possible, try to escape back. The reason why Ye Chen said this is because Xiaobo's level is quite difficult. Xiaobo rode a chariot, and each white high-level Minotaur also had its own mobile turret, which was very difficult to fight. Well, it's up to us next. Don't move with a big hand, and led the brothers to kill in. Their mission was to kill all the Minotaurs. As for whether they could come out alive, it didn't matter. Because the essence of this dark line is to kill all the white Minotaurs. In this way, when Ye Chen, who turned into a goblin, took Xiaoro in, it would give Xiaobo an excuse and opportunity. After all, It couldn't expose its ambitions to any Minotaur. So, the Minotaur must die. If one is missed, this dark line will be considered a failure. After Budong and the others left, only Yuchen and Xiaoro were left. Yuchen told Xiaoro the next plot and some key points, then took out a rope prepared in advance and tied her up. After a while, Yuchen woke up and drank the spring water resolutely. With a flash of white light, he turned into a goblin. Strong green goblin, elite. Level 15. HP, 450/450. Skills, Bite, Goblin language. Each player, according to their own attributes, will turn into a different type of goblin after drinking the goblin transformation potion. Yuchen is so powerful that he turned into an elite monster. At this stage, it is something to be proud of. Then, Yuchen familiarized himself with the pronunciation and controlled the goblin's body. But after just a while, he was already very skilled. After all, he was already skilled in his previous life, and now he just wanted to get back to the feeling. During the boring wait, the system prompts of teammates hanging up rang from time to time. About 10 minutes later, Budong and others were wiped out. Okay, it's up to you now, brother. Try to get the first kill, Budong typed in the team channel. Seeing this, Yechen smiled, and with a stern look on his face, he slapped the long whip in his hand on the ground, and rushed into the room in front with Xiaoro in a menacing manner. Suddenly, a strong smell of gunpowder filled the air, and the whole room was filled with flames and black smoke. One can imagine how fierce the battle between Budong and others was just now. Doctor, Yechen shouted excitedly in bird language. On his ugly and wretched face, there was an exaggerated expression of tears of joy. Asshole! Seeing his compatriots, Xiaobo was not happy but angry, and roared, I have said long ago that if there is nothing particularly important, you should not come to see me. If the secret is exposed, all my efforts will be in vain. Xiaobo in the hell level copy has pale hair and a skinny body, like a zombie. This is its last glory. It can be said that it has risked its life for the race and the tribe. If ordinary goblins see it, they will definitely be in awe. However, Yechen is not its compatriot. Doctor, I do have something important to do. Yechen pushed Xiaoro hard, whipped the ground with a loud noise, and said with full momentum, I was training outside and tried my best to catch the stinky woman. I didn't expect that she was a priest who could perform resurrection magic. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 122. Xiaoro was pushed by Yechen and staggered. She jumped forward several steps and rolled her eyes angrily. However, she also understood the current situation and quickly screamed in harmony, pretending to be scared. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. Resurrection. Uncle Xia's cloudy old eyes suddenly shot out a ray of light, and he couldn't help laughing wildly. With the resurrection technique, you can resurrect King Gaj. Coupled with its years of research results, it will definitely be able to defeat the Turan Yuta and take back the tribe. Regain the glory? Woman. Later you are going to use the resurrection spell to resurrect our great King Geoj. Do you hear me? This is your honor. Yuchen slapped the long whip to the ground again and said to Xiaoro with a fierce expression. Yechen called her stinky woman and woman vulgarly, and Xiaoro felt a strange emotion in her heart. It wasn't that she was angry, but she was shy anyway. Very good. Young man, take this woman with me, and we will resurrect King Gog together. This is a great moment. A great moment for the revival of our goblin clan. Uncle Xia's face was flushed. He had endured the humiliation for so many years and finally saw the results. Then it praised Yechen, started the chariot, and took the lead into the next room. That's right, it's an invasion. Now that King Geoj is about to be resurrected, there is no need for him to continue pretending. With a rumble, the chariot started to move. As a Lord-level mini-boss, Xiaobo directly helped Ye Chen and the others sweep through a room. Then he headed towards a fork in the road, and soon came to a hidden room. There were many high-level goblins in this room, and they all knelt down next to a crystal coffin. Inside the coffin was the Goblin King Gog, who died in battle. The skin on its body was dark black. Although it was not tall, it was strong and powerful. There were a large number of tattoos on its exposed chest and arms. On his majestic face, there are golden eyebrows that are rare on ordinary goblins. Next, Xiaoro used the resurrection technique. Under the expectation of many goblins dancing and roaring crazily, the sleeping King Gog finally opened his eyes. Dark golden pupils. At the same time, a violent, manic and powerful aura swept over, and the resurrected Geoj roared wildly, holding a blood-red battle axe, and chopped Xiaoro to death with one blow. It was so badass that it was ruthless. Xiaoro had just resurrected it, but it didn't say a word of thanks and instead killed her. Ye Chen was speechless for a while, but the setting of this hidden line was like this. He had no choice but to dance with the crazy goblins and praise Gog. Uncle Xia, you have suffered in these years. Gao Ji looked at Uncle Xia's old face and felt a sigh of relief. Even though he was as violent as his compatriots, he still had a touch of tenderness. For King Gog, and for the revival of our great goblin clan, this is what I should do. Xiaobo responded simply, and then said, Your Majesty, I was anxious to resurrect you just now, so I killed you all the way here. Now that my identity has been exposed, that big idiot Yuta must have sent people to chase you. Humph, you arrogant guy. Boys, follow me and fight. Kill Yuta and the Tauren tribe. Gog roared angrily, swung the blood-red battle axe in his hand, and with the support of many goblins, he wanted to rush out, but was stopped by Xiaobo. Your Majesty, you have been sleeping for several years now and your combat power is not at its peak. If you fight Uta head-on like this, you will inevitably suffer a loss. Xiaobo said, but it doesn't matter. I have endured the humiliation in the past few years and have already prepared a secret weapon for you. Oh, Gao Ji was overjoyed. Later, with Xiaobo leading the way, the goblins came to a secret warehouse. In this warehouse, there are many brand new tanks, including a fully covered heavy tank. Obviously, this heavy tank is prepared for Gao Ji. Haha, you guys, all get on the chariots and go fight to the death with that big stupid bull in Yuta. Take back the glory that belongs to us. Roar. Geoj gave an order, and all the goblins mounted their chariots, and the army rushed out with smoke and dust billowing. When the goblins rode their chariots and came to the seventh room again, which was the room behind Xiaobo, they found that the Tauren army had already rushed over. This is the most interesting thing. The boss actually rushed out of his room. This kind of situation is impossible to encounter in ordinary dungeons. Among the Tauren army, there was a giant Tauren with dark red skin, armor, and sharp horns on its head, like a bull demon king. It is the Tauren king, Yuta. In the Hell level dungeon, it and Gao Ji are both level 20 golden lords, big bosses. The two armies were enemies of life and death, and under the pull of fate, they once again launched a fateful battle. There was nothing to say, no need for explanation or negotiation, the two sides just fought together, shouting war cries again and again. I saw Geoj and Yuta starting to collide head-on. Yuta has unlimited collision and unlimited body dominance. And Gao Ji is in a fully covered heavy tank, which is equivalent to a hegemonic body, and can even be said to be invincible. The chariot is not broken, it cannot take any damage. Boom. Bang. The Yuta was extremely violent, and it violently collided with the heavy chariot. Blood dripped from it, which in turn aroused its ferocity. After 10 minutes of bloody battle, Yuta was covered in blood and his HP was less than half. Under its violent attack, the heavy chariot gradually cracked and finally exploded with a bang. Geoj came out unscathed, but as Xiaobo said, its combat power was not at its peak now. After fighting with Wyuda, its HP dropped faster. On the other side, the goblins rode chariots and fought with the Minotaur army. Because of the chariots, they had an advantage in combat power, but the other side had more people and they were evenly matched for a while. As time went on, most of the two sides died tragically. In such a crazy and tragic bloody battle, there was a wretched goblin who was fishing in troubled waters, roaring more happily than anyone else, but refused to rush forward. That's right, it was Yuchen. He was not stupid. After becoming a goblin, he lost all his means and had no combat power at all. Now he is protected by a chariot. If the chariot is destroyed, with his 450 HP, he can't withstand the attack of any guard around Wyuda. He will definitely be killed instantly. So he had to fish in troubled waters and secretly wait for an opportunity. After a few minutes, Wyuda was the first to fall down due to exhaustion. The Minotaur army was completely destroyed. This fateful bloody battle, under Xiaobo's planning and years of layout, finally made the goblin side win a tragic victory. At this time, only Jiaoch, Xiaobo, and Yechen were left on the goblin side. Except for Yechen, the other two were already at low health, with only a little bit of health left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 123. Calm down. I need to calm down. After Wyuda died, a constant golden light flashed in the equipment that exploded. This was obviously gold equipment. However, Yechen is still a goblin now, and he has no way to transform back on his own before the potion effect disappears. At this time, the effect of the goblin transformation potion still lasts for about 1 minute. In other words, this minute is the most critical time. If you are too reckless and reveal your true colors, all your efforts will fail. Yechen is also very annoyed about this. After all, he hasn't played this dungeon for a long time. If it was in his previous life, he could perfectly fit this time into 10 seconds. You know, Xiaobo is a little easier to say, but Gao Ji is a level 20 gold lord, a big boss, and his HP recovery speed is very fast. After 1 minute, HP will be restored in large quantities. Before, he hoped that Budong and others could come back alive, and he also hoped to keep a backup, but now he is the only one left in the whole group. Xiaohei can't be used either, because now Xiaohei has also turned into a goblin like him, there is no damage to speak of. Hey, that cowardly green goblin over there, why are all the others heroically killed, but your chariot is still brand new? Gao Ji's golden eyebrows were furious, stirring up a terrifying aura. Because I'm a good driver, King, you didn't see it just now, but I actually killed a lot of Minotaurs, but the Minotaurs couldn't get close to me. Hearing this, Yechen immediately jumped off the chariot and smiled obscenely. Asshole, do you think I will believe you? You must be cowardly and dare not fight. Gao Ji was not stupid. He guessed through Yechen's trick at once and roared angrily. Immediately, it picked up the battle axe and prepared to chop Yechen to death with one knife. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Xiaobo stopped it and said a good word for Yechen. It smiled and said, "Forget it, my king. In fact, it is this kid's credit that you can be resurrected. Now that our goblin clan has won and regained the tribe and glory, it can be regarded as a hero. Let's spare its life for now." Humph. Seeing Xiaobo pleading for Yechen, it snorted coldly and gave up, then bent down and wanted to pick up the golden equipment dropped by Wyuda. At the same time, Yechen's eyes condensed slightly. This is the disadvantage of the wrong time card. If Gao Ji picked up this equipment, even if Gao Ji was killed, it would be difficult to get the equipment out again. In the previous life, someone missed the golden equipment because of this. The regret and sadness, it was simply sad and tearful. However, this was not a difficult thing for Ye Chen. Xiao He had been wandering around the equipment for a long time. As soon as he thought about it, Xiao He grabbed the golden equipment before Gao Ji and turned and ran out. Huh? How did the equipment fly away by itself? Gao Ji couldn't see Xiao He. In his eyes, the equipment flew up automatically. Seeing the equipment flying towards Ye Chen, he shouted, "Little goblin, hurry up and grab this equipment, I will reward you handsomely." "Yes." Ye Chen shouted and rushed up quickly. The moment he touched Xiao He, he cleverly turned on the automatic pickup and put the gold equipment into the package. "Huh? King, the equipment is gone." Ye Chen looked panicked and confused, as if the equipment was really gone. "Good for nothing. You can't even catch a piece of equipment, what use is there for me to keep you?" Seeing the gold equipment disappearing right under his eyes, Gao Ji roared, waving his battle axe and rushing towards Ye Chen. 2 seconds later, he got close to Ye Chen and chopped him down with a knife. Ye Chen suddenly rolled over and dodged. "Forget it, my king. It's just a piece of equipment. You don't have to get angry with this little goblin." Xiaobo tried to mediate again. Suddenly, a white light flashed on Ye Chen's body, and he turned from a goblin into a human. "Ah! Human! My king, we were fooled. Kill him." Xiaobo's position changed in an instant, and he roared loudly. Gao Ji also roared continuously. Just as he was about to attack, Ye Chen had already sneaked and disappeared. Stun. Throat slash. Backstab plus finishing blow equals heart piercing. Ye Chen quickly pounced on Xiaobo and took him away with a set of skills. After the last blow, he used shadow attack to lightly knock Xiaobo and swept back 5 yards. He distanced himself from Gao Ji again. At this time, Gao Ji's HP recovered to more than 30,000. Ye Chen couldn't take him away in 2 or 3 waves, let alone 1 wave. If he fought hard, he might get into trouble. He had been fighting this hell-level dungeon for more than 2 hours, and it was already the last moment. If he made a mistake, it would be a pity. So, he could only fight in a timid way. He let Xiao He rush up to fight, while he activated the wind step and threw darts to attack. Facing the level 20 gold boss, Xiao He's success rate of using a club alone was not high, and he was stunned once after half a minute. Then, Ye Chen rushed over and fought hard. After 3 waves, Gao Ji fell to the ground with a wail, and his equipment exploded all over the ground. Although there was no gold equipment, there were 2 purple equipment. With the gold equipment exploded by Wu Ta, this hell-level dungeon was really fun to fight. At the same time, the Novice Village broadcast sounded. Human Race Novice Village, Tata Village broadcast, congratulations to Ye Shen, Fuxian, Shidu, Xiaoro, Lantong, Xiaoqi, completed the first hell-level kill of Tauran tribe and received experience reward, 3.5 million, 200,000 copper coins and 1 skill point. Leader Yagamai will be awarded an additional skill point of 1 point. The broadcast was refreshed 3 times in a row, which immediately confused the majority of novice players. Ye Shen, motionless as a mountain, tisk tisk, it was indeed the 2 of them. The first hell-level kill in Flame Swamp was also won by this elite group. What a great guy. For a time, many novice players kept the idea of Ye Shen firmly in their hearts. On the other side, Ye Chen was cleaning the battlefield alone. There were so many trophies, that even the packages couldn't fit in them. He had no choice but to pick out the good ones, whether they were white or green, without even looking at them. After the cleaning was almost done, Ye Chen glanced at the 2 purple outfits and found that they were both level 15 purple outfits with not too outstanding special effects, so he was ready to give them to Fudo and the others. Next, is the golden equipment. Yuta's golden battle axe, golden equipment. Level 15. Physical attack, 255-306. Strength add 150. Physical strength add 50. Special effect, brutal collision LV add 2. Special effect, brutal collision CD reduced by 50%. Additional skills, shock. Tisk, tisk, these special effects, it seems that the fat man is going to kneel down and beg me again. Ye Chen smiled slightly, this battle axe was simply tailor-made for the berserker. After winning the first kill of the hell level dungeon, he also got 2 skill points. Next, he concentrated on practicing his skills and raised Shadow Strike to LV5 in the shortest time. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 124. After getting the first kill, the massive experience value reward made everyone's experience bar rush forward. Especially Xiaoro, she was originally only level 8, but now she has directly upgraded to level 9, and has a lot of experience left, not far from level 10. The Tauran tribe hell level is limited to 2 times a day, which means that you can do it again. Although there is no first kill, the hell level dungeon still has rich benefits. Seeing that everyone is very enthusiastic, Ye Chen led another one. 2 hours later, the dungeon was cleared and Xiaoro also reached level 10. Then, the team disbanded and said goodbye to each other. Ye Chen took Xiaoro, the fire gun and the big milk back to the main city again. After giving Wuda's golden battle axe to Xiaoro and asking her to pass it to Fatty, Ye Chen left alone. He first bought a lot of spring water and some special potions at the auction house. Low-level mental stimulation elixir, after use, all skill CDs are reduced by 30%. The effect lasts for 10 minutes. The CD of Shadow Strike is 20 seconds. Shadow Bracelet -5 seconds. If you use this potion again, it will be 10.5 seconds, which is equivalent to being reduced by half. Then, Ye Chen went to the training ground to practice his skills in seclusion. In the training ground, players can simulate any monster of any level and challenge it. Even if it dies, the experience will not be deducted. Here is the best place to rush the skill level. Of course, there are also players who like to figure out the skill combination and perform combos here to improve their skills. What's more, they will simulate the boss of each dungeon and challenge it. Ye Chen simulated a level 20 wooden stake and adjusted its HP to 100 million. Then he knocked off a bottle of potion and started to throw skills madly. With such an opportunity, he certainly would not only stick to the shadow attack skill, but all skills can be practiced, including the thief. Although this wooden stake is just a simulation, it will not explode anything if it is killed, and there is no experience at all, so it is even more impossible to steal things from it. So, his thief failed every time, but even if he failed, he would increase his proficiency points. A day passed in a flash, and Ye Chen barely upgraded Shadow Attack to LV3, Spinning Stab to LV2, and Wind Step to LV2. As for other skills, none of them were upgraded, because the levels of those skills were relatively high and it was difficult to upgrade them in a short period of time. LV3 Shadow Attack, plus the first level of Shadow Bracelet, 2 skill points, can reach level 6, and the Shadow Extension distance reaches 30 yards. Add the 30% bonus of Shadow Bracelet, which is 39 yards. And Shadow Attack plus Final Strike equals Shadow Extension. The effect of Shadow Extension can double the distance of Shadow Extension. That is 78 yards. Level 6 Shadow Attack is enough, and Ye Chen can even save a few skill points, because LV5 Shadow Attack is enough. In other words, as long as he comes to the feet of Suan Wu, quickly accumulates combo points, and uses Shadow Attack with Final Strike, he can successfully teleport to Suan Wu's back. October 11th, the latest information. The Light Camp, led by Mythology and Hall of Fame, gathered the majority of players at 8 o'clock this morning to fight a desperate battle with the Suan Wu Beast Soul. The major forums and postbars have pinned the corresponding posts, and the total number of replies has exceeded 800 million. Squeeze out the water. According to incomplete statistics, the number of players who responded has reached 30 million. The proportion of players who visit forums and post bars in the total number of players is definitely no more than 10%. In other words, there are more players. Although they have not responded, when the wind and clouds surge, the various water armies will tell each other, and they will also get the news, and most of the players will definitely participate. Breaking 100 million should not be a problem. After Yechen finished breakfast, he rushed online. The huge Bayun city was like an empty city, and the players were extremely scarce. Moreover, these few players also rushed out of the city with anxious expressions. Obviously, they also wanted to attack Suanwuo. Yechen smiled helplessly. There was only one Suanwuo, and there was only one person who could kill it with the last blow. 99.9999, 99% of people would be supporting roles. But even so, countless players thought they were the lucky ones. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the sky. Bayun City Broadcast Initiator, Wu Ziyi Brothers and Sisters of Bayun City, I am Wu Ziyi, the president of Shenhua. Now that Suanwuo is born, I hope everyone can come to help attack Suanwuo. This time Suanwuo is the first kill, and there is a great chance that a holy weapon will be exploded no matter which lucky person this holy weapon falls into. I, Wu Ziyi, am willing to invest 1 million RMB to purchase it. There are two types of broadcasts. One is that if a player takes the first kill of a copy, or completes the only hidden task, the system will publish a broadcast for free. The other type requires players to spend RMB to purchase. Novice villages do not have broadcasts. Main cities of all levels have 10,000 to 20,000. Faction broadcasts have 50,000. National broadcasts have 100,000. Server-wide broadcasts, that is, world broadcasts have 200,000. Broadcasts are extremely expensive. Even some local tyrants and giants dare not play around with them unless it is a major event. And the attack on Suanwuo is obviously the biggest event of the Light Camp so far. Fantasy World was launched not long ago, and players have not spread to other main cities. Wuozui can be regarded as taking advantage of it. The 10,000 yuan Bayun City radio played the role of the camp radio. But Wuozui was rich and powerful, and he disdained to take advantage of this. He swiped the radio 10 times in a row. Boom boom boom, there was a loud noise in the sky. Damn, no wonder the city is empty now. Yechen was sweating, and his face was full of admiration. Then, the president of the Hall of Fame, Qianxingtianxia. He also started to swipe the radio, also 10 times. The content of the two broadcasts was not much different. They all hoped to spend money to buy the first holy weapon of the Light Camp. Of course, Qianxingtianxia had a little more thought. He hoped that the lucky guy could serve as the captain of their Hall of Fame. You know, after the lucky guy killed Suanwuo, he got terrible experience. I don't know how many levels he can soar, just based on the far ahead level, he is more than enough to be a captain. Moreover, since the lucky guy can stand out from hundreds of millions of players, his own luck is also against the sky. Sometimes luck is a weird thing. You can't help but admit it. Some people triumph all the way, while others step on shit when walking and choke to death when drinking water. Yechen opened his mailbox, and there was a set of equipment that he asked Xiaoro to prepare for him in advance. Of course, it was still leather armor. Thieves or assassins can only wear leather armor. The same is true for each profession. You can only wear equipment that matches your profession. However, this set of level 15 purple leather armor is fully inlaid with LV2 physical puzzles, with a total of nearly 100 points of physical strength. After he put it on, his HP reached 1400 plus. Putting aside defense, his health is at the shield warrior level. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 125. Ancient ruins, great desert, 8-yard-long cactus field. Crowds of people, a dark mass from afar. Taiwanese novel website Rightward Arrow. War cries continued, millions of roars gathered and rushed into the sky, like explosions, like thunder, as if to tear the sky apart. In the crowd, a huge turtle was like a moving giant tower, walking slowly. From time to time, it stirred up flying sand all over the sky, like a sea wave, drowning the crowd one after another. This is not a skill, not even a normal attack, it is just Suanwu walking. The player side has to lose tens of thousands of troops every second. The front line hangs up, and the players behind rush up one after another, and various skills explode on Suanwu like fireworks and firecrackers, dazzling. Who set the sea of fire? What's wrong with you? That's right, you can't burn Suanwu, but you can burn us. I don't care about you, I'm just here to make peace, so what? If you don't accept it, In the battlefield ahead, there are always people who stir up trouble to highlight their existence, but such people will not survive for a second and will be killed by the people around them immediately. As time passed, the players gradually entered the state, and Suanwu became irritable because of the pain, and the roar was like a landslide and tsunami. Suddenly, Suanwu opened its huge mouth and sprayed out a green dragon breath, with a width of 10 yards in diameter and a length of about 1,000 yards. Where the green dragon breath passed, a path was opened for the player army, the land cracked, and smoke and dust rolled. In this attack, the number of players killed exceeded 100,000. Most of them did not rush to the front row, and did not even touch Suanwu's hair, and they went back to the city to say goodbye. However, the next moment, this road was quickly filled with crazy players. Yechen looked from afar, the battlefield in front was like a huge pot, the content was filled, and he couldn't rush in. The situation of most other players was the same as him, and they couldn't squeeze in. Although it is said that if the army of players with more than 100 million people attack at the same time, at most 1 or 2 waves can take away Suanwu. But the actual situation is not so. The only ones who can really touch Suanwu are always the ones at the front line. If they continue to attack, Suanwu will also be injured, but it is a sacred beast and its HP recovers very quickly. In other words, this battle is destined to be a protracted war. Yechen initially estimated that it would be a good situation if the players could kill Suanwu within 1 day, that is, within 24 hours. If there is a slight change, it will take longer. What kind of change? For example, some players have to go offline to eat. Eat you. We agreed to fight Suanwu together, and you said you want to go offline to eat? Damn it, hold back your hunger, hold back your poop and pee, my girlfriend is arguing with me and dumped me. Those who don't have a game console but only a helmet, if you're sleepy, open your eyes wide for me. This is how a large-scale battle should be. You don't even have time to pee, and you still eat and sleep. Although, various water armies have already spread such information and concepts. But this attack on Suanwu is, after all, the first time for the majority of players to focus on the united front. It is normal for everyone to have this or that kind of problems because they have no experience. Moreover, most players only have a sense of novelty and expectation, and they have no sense of mission. You can't measure them by the standards of elites. 10 hours passed in a flash, and the major guild forces finally came to the front line along with the flow of people. They have shield warrior troops, holding up huge shields, which are enough to withstand the flying sand. In this way, the death of the player army is greatly reduced, and the battle is truly launched at this moment. Why? Since the large guilds have this strength, why didn't they rush up at the beginning? Do they have to wait until all the players are collectively dead before rushing up? Isn't this bullying? Yes, they are bullying. Since the big guilds can become big guilds, they naturally have their ambitions and prospects. Doing so can, on the one hand, demonstrate their strength and status. On the other hand, the gap between them and ordinary players will help them control the market more advantageously. Games are just games in the eyes of ordinary players. In the eyes of professionals, it is a huge market, a huge piece of cake. Some people make a lot of money from this and are rich. But some people even have to bargain for a piece of equipment they like. In addition, there is a more important point. They rushed forward a step slower, and finally wanted their own people to kill Suanwoo, so that the holy weapon falls into their own hands. The first holy weapon of the light camp, although they are indeed rich, but if it is really taken away by outsiders, 1 million people may not necessarily sell it. And Yechen, in line with the pace of many giant forces, 10 hours later, he also successfully rushed to the front line. After all, his defense is not as good as that of a shield warrior. He dodged the flying sand carefully, and then his eyes flashed with cold light, and he killed 2 elite players from the big guild with 2 skills. If he attacked Suanwoo, he would not be able to quickly accumulate combo points because of insufficient damage. But after killing 2 players in seconds, he had accumulated 7 combo points. Shadow attack plus final blow equals shadow extension. Swish. Yechen slashed with a knife, and his figure stretched infinitely like a phantom. In just a moment, he stood proudly on the back of Suanwoo. Roar. The roar of the explosion suddenly came from Suanwoo's mouth, which made everyone's eardrums hurt, and they were also extremely surprised. Why did Suanwoo suddenly go berserk? That's because Suanwoo is a divine beast. With its proud self-esteem, it does not allow anyone to ride on its back, not even gods. Suddenly, Suanwoo swayed wildly, and the violent collision stirred up thousands of layers of sand waves. This made it difficult for the big guild forces on the front line. Who said that turtles run slowly? Suanwoo runs very fast. In a few breaths, he rushed out of the encirclement of players. Everyone was shocked and looked up, and found that there was a person standing on Suanwoo's back. Although small, he was also tall. There is someone on Suanwoo's back. How did he get up there? Kneel down. This time, I really have to look up to high-end players. Millions of players roared at the same time, with surprise and admiration written on their faces. A rat's shit has ruined my whole pot of porridge. The president of Shenhua was innocent, and his expression was sinister. Yechen's move undoubtedly angered Suanwoo. Suanwoo ran wildly, and it was difficult for them to form an encirclement. In this way, if they want to defeat Suanwoo, they will have to pay a greater price. Far more than the previous price. However, Yechen didn't care about these things. Why should he care about others? Suanwoo ran wildly, stirring up strong winds that rushed into his eyes, ears, mouth, and nose. Yechen felt uncomfortable and hurriedly grabbed the bulge on Suanwoo's back to prevent himself from falling. And then, mental stimulating elixir. Thief. Stealing secretly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 126. System, you failed to use Thief on Suanwoo Beast's soul, and gained 1 proficiency point. System, you failed to use Thief on Suanwoo Beast's soul, and gained 1 proficiency point. System, you failed to use Thief on Suanwoo Beast's soul, and gained 1 proficiency point. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Suanwoo is full of treasures, but because of this, it is difficult for him to steal things, even if his thief is LV5. Everyone, look. The person on Suanwoo's back is performing the thief skill. That's right. Suanwoo is too huge. He is standing on Suanwoo's back, so we can't see his appearance clearly, but the release action is definitely that of a thief. Tisk tisk, so awesome. Other thieves are just stealing, but he is doing it openly. That's right, riding on Suanwu's back and stealing. Under Suanwu's feet, countless players were dumbfounded and stunned by Ye Chen's behavior. It's awesome that a thief can play like this. Thief? Thief. Wuzui look sinister. When players of different professions release skills, they will have a release action, and each action is different. Some experienced players can easily distinguish the skills released by the other party from each action. Of course, some special skills are too rare, and the release actions are not well known to outsiders. But the skill of Thief is not difficult to distinguish. How did he get up there? Level 10 Shadow Attack, Wuzui's mind moved. As one of the top players, he was familiar with all professions and all the current common skills. At this moment, he guessed a rough idea with a little guessing. Find a way to figure out his ID. I hope to talk to him. Wuzui ordered his men around him. At this moment, Ye Chen was on Suanwu's back, making Suanwu extremely manic, rushing around everywhere. Wherever he passed, a lot of white light would inevitably flash, causing the frequency of player deaths to increase infinitely. Such a result was not what Wuzui wanted to see. At this moment, he wanted to contact Ye Chen and offer enough conditions to get him off Suanwu's back. Boss, there is a result. The guy just killed our two mages. The feedback was that it was Ye Chen who killed them. About 3 minutes later, a senior executive responded with a bitter smile. Ye Chen. Wuzui's slender eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment. He was stunned for a moment, and then laughed in anger. To be honest, he didn't take Ye Chen too seriously before. As a top player and the president of a giant guild, any passerby player was an ant in his eyes. Because of this, after he issued a life and death order last time, he basically ignored it, and even almost forgot that there was such a person. Unexpectedly, the other party has grown up. Now he even rode on the back of Suanwu for a while, which made him somewhat helpless. Wuzui exhaled a foul breath. In the face of huge interests, he knew the necessary forbearance and hiding his shortcomings. Now, it is better to trick Ye Chen off the back of Suanwu first, and discuss the future later. Thinking of this, Wuzui unilaterally added Ye Chen as a friend and edited a message to send it. However, 10 minutes later, he still didn't get a reply. Seeing that Suanwu was still roaring angrily and rushing around, killing tens of thousands of players in an instant, Wuzui was so angry that he trembled all over, and forced himself to hold back the clamoring nerves in his body. He comforted himself, maybe Ye Chen was concentrating on stealing Suanwu at this moment and didn't see the message he sent. So, he gave an order, and tens of thousands of elite players of the Mythology Guild, including peripheral players, sent private messages to Ye Chen at the same time. However, Ye Chen still didn't reply a single word. Damn. Wuzui's soared eyebrows were furious, and it seemed that there was a beast roaring in his heart. Under the rage level, he directly spent 10,000 to send a broadcast, which exploded in the sky. Baiyun City Broadcast Initiator, Wuzui Ye Chen, add me as a friend, private chat. Damn, the sense of déjà vu of keyboard online games. The front row looks up at the high-end local tyrant players, and uses 10,000 broadcasts to chat. Too awesome, the president of mythology is really rich and powerful. Inhumane. It's simply crazy. For a moment, countless players below were stunned by the broadcast, and then shouted out. Before the launch of Dream World, many game enthusiasts were playing traditional keyboard online games. There, many players like to use broadcasts or loudspeakers to chat in order to show off and highlight themselves. But that's not awesome at all, because the broadcasts of those keyboard online games can only be displayed in fonts, and many people are too lazy to watch them, and the broadcasts are also very cheap, no more than 100 yuan at most. But now, one broadcast costs 10,000 yuan, and it's only used for chatting? Some fangirls began to have peach blossoms in their eyes. If they met such a man, they would want to marry him. Of course, this is just the idea of ordinary players after all. Some high-end players don't believe that we would be so naive. Combined with the current situation, it is not difficult to distinguish that the so-called Yeshen is the man riding on the back of Suanwu at this moment. Yeshen? Is he riding on the back of Suanwu? Awesome, this is much better than 10,000 yuan for broadcasting. For a while, similar information spread rapidly like a plague. Among the crowd, Gao Ming, Deng Liang, and even Du Ci, Qian Niao and other people who were once hostile to Ye Chen, looked shocked, as if they had eaten feces, especially Gao Ming and Deng Liang. Their faces were cold and their hatred was increasing. People like them can't stand seeing someone they once looked down upon suddenly rise up. Tank, Fatty, and others were also unwilling to be lonely. How could they not join in such a grand occasion? They had already mixed in the crowd. At this moment, they heard that Ye Chen was riding on the back of Suanwu, and almost lost his urethra. He was so scared that he almost peed in his pants. Oh my god, Ye Chen is so awesome. Although Ye Chen brought them too many surprises along the way, they really didn't expect that Ye Chen was so awesome. Xiaoro's beautiful eyes flashed with a strange light. Now, she has a deeper understanding of the game and knows what it means to ride on the back of Suanwu. At least, among the more than 100 million players at this moment, he is the only one who can do it. Thinking of this, her pretty face couldn't help but blush slightly. On the other side, on the back of Suanwu, Ye Chen was also stunned by the sudden broadcast. Just as we thought, before, he was concentrating on stealing Suanwu and really didn't pay attention to the private chat. At this moment, Wuzui was madly browsing the broadcast, and he seemed to wake up from a dream. So, he smiled and added Wuzui as a friend. Now that things have come to this, he wants to see what Wuzui wants to say to him. 100,000, get off Suanwu, Wuzui sent a voice message a second later. Get off Suanwu. This sentence is a bit awkward. Why does it sound like I'm sleeping with your woman? Yuchen laughed. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 127. It's only 100,000, Ye Chen shook his head and smiled. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Nowadays, his vision has become higher, and 100,000 is no longer a big number for him. Moreover, compared to an opportunity to steal a holy weapon, what is 100,000? A holy weapon, and the first holy weapon of the light camp, the value is simply inestimable. The person who owns it is likely to be invincible in a short period of time. If Ye Chen really stole the holy weapon, let alone 1 million, what about 10 million? He still won't sell it. You must have a long-term goal. If you get the holy weapon, it will be easy to brush the dungeon and fight the boss. The first kill is soft. Thinking of this, Ye Chen wanted to directly refuse to be innocent, but suddenly thought of something, and his eyes turned twice insidiously. 100,000 is a little too little, right? What if I steal the holy weapon? 100,000 is nothing, Ye Chen replied with a smile. Are you really stupid or just pretending to be stupid? Is the holy weapon so easy to steal? It doesn't matter. According to the current progress, it feels like you will need at least 1 or 2 days to kill Suanwu. Then I will ride on Suanwu and steal. I really don't believe it. If I can't steal the holy weapon. 200,000, get off Suanwu quickly, Wuzui is a big shot. How could he not hear the hidden meaning of Ye Chen's words? He just wanted to take the opportunity to rob. Robbery actually hit Wuzui. This is not something that everyone can do, but even so, Wuzui can only bear it with frustration. Very good, I'll send you the account, you can just transfer the money to me. Ye Chen laughed and sent the account number. We didn't think much about it. He was also sneering. What Yuchen ate now, he would spit out sooner or later. Spit it out twice. Then, he ordered his men to transfer 200,000 yuan to Yechen's account. 10 minutes later. Boss, I have sent someone to transfer the money, a senior executive whispered in Wui's ear. Humph, that kid is really dishonest, he even asked me to urge him. Since the money had been transferred, but Yechen was still on Suan Wu's back, Wui could not help but snort coldly and send a message impatiently. Boy, I have transferred the money, you give it to me immediately. Wui stopped talking halfway, his pupils contracted, he was stunned and couldn't believe it. System, sorry, the other party did not add you as a friend, your voice failed to send. Damn. Wui suddenly breathed quickly, trembling all over, angry, blood boiling, feeling that every cell in his body was roaring. Yechen not only blackmailed him, but also dared to deceive him. After receiving the money, he directly blocked him, which was simply arrogant and ruthless. What kind of person is Wui? When ordinary players saw him, they didn't even dare to speak loudly. He really didn't expect Yechen to dare to lie to him. Boss. Seeing Wui's face flushed with anger, the high-level people of mythology called out cautiously. Wui roared wildly, choking the air around him and making everyone silent. After a long time, Wui took a deep breath and woke up from his rage. Negotiation failed, everyone should focus on fighting Suan Wu first, Wui said calmly, with red eyes and hoarse voice, which made everyone's heart tremble fiercely. Hiss. The high-level eyelids trembled and took a breath of cold air. They knew Wui's temper very well because they were with the emperor like a tiger. Now, they only need to look at Wui's expression to know, Yechen actually deceived Wui, the president of their mythology. Yechen? This kid is really awesome. This is the first time I see Wui boss so angry. Yes, to some extent, he is a figure. It's a pity that he offended Wui boss, and he is doomed to fail in the game in the future. The high-level people looked at each other, smiled bitterly, and sighed. Soon, all the high-level people in mythology, including Wui, buried the anger in their hearts and began to concentrate on dealing with Suan Wu. For several hours, Yechen kept releasing thieves, but still didn't touch a hair. But he was not in a hurry, because his LV5 thief proficiency was about to be full, and he could be upgraded to LV6 soon. In addition, he deliberately kept a skill point, which was LV7. Because of this, Yechen was not depressed at all, but was looking forward to it, with crazy eyes. Finally. System, you successfully cast Thief on Suan Wu Beast's soul, obtained Suan Wu Beast scale *1, proficiency add 1650 points. Suddenly a system prompt sounded, like the sound of nature. Yechen was extremely surprised. Not only did the thief upgrade to LV6, he also obtained Suan Wu Beast scale, and directly completed the S-level task and received a generous reward. Then, he added skill points to the thief, LV7 thief. After that, he seemed to have broken through some bottleneck, and was able to steal things from Suan Wu from time to time, and his proficiency skyrocketed. However, all this was unknown to the people below, who were still desperately attacking Suan Wu. After a few hours, Suan Wu continued to run away, exhausted, and it suddenly lay down, panting like a cow. Opportunity. Everyone follow me. Wui directly opened the radio and shouted, and countless players rushed up and began to output frantically. Suan Wu's HP dropped faster and faster. Yechen's eyes condensed. At this pace, Suan Wu could not last for 5 hours at most. That is to say, he only had 5 hours to steal, and he had already lowered his expectations on whether he could steal the holy artifact. And even if he didn't steal the holy artifact, he picked up 200,000 for nothing, which was funny to think about. After another 3 hours, the turn that Ye Chen expected happened again. That is, Suanwu's HP dropped to a residual blood, and it went berserk again. This time it gave up targeting Ye Chen and targeted the majority of players. Boom! Suanwu raised his feet and smashed them violently, causing a violent shock wave. The blue dragon breath caused the land to crack and swept the army of players. It was releasing its last dignity. Very good, kill them. As a player, Ye Chen stood on Suanwu's side, hoping that Suanwu would continue to slaughter a large number of players, and it would be best if they were all killed. In this way, he would have more time to steal. Unfortunately, Suanwu's berserk this time was just a flash in the pan. In less than 10 minutes, it withered again, squatted down with a bang, and wailed. At the same time, Ye Chen's thief accumulated enough experience and upgraded to LV8. Then, it was another crazy stealing. System, you successfully used the thief on the Suanwu Beast Soul, and obtained the Beast King Spear *1, proficiency add 8,000 points. System, you successfully used the thief on the Suanwu Beast Soul, and obtained the Special Instant Recovery Potion *1, proficiency add 150 points. System, you successfully used the thief on the Suanwu Beast Soul, and obtained the Black Turtle Shield *1, proficiency and points. System, your thief upgraded, the current level is LV9. System, your thief upgraded, the current level is LV10. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 128. Huh? The thief upgraded 2 levels in a row, reaching LV10. Ye Chen was startled by the system prompt. You must know that there is a watershed every 5 levels in skill level. After level 5, it is quite difficult to upgrade. Even with dedicated practice, it cannot be upgraded in a day or two. Moreover, Ye Chen's thief had just reached LV8 and had not accumulated any proficiency yet. He just stole a few times and actually jumped 2 levels in a row. His intuition told him that he must have stolen something serious. Thinking of this, Ye Chen couldn't help but flip through the theft tips on the front. Beast King's gun, added 8,000 proficiency. Tisk tisk, Ye Chen didn't even need to look at the attributes of the equipment. Just by visually measuring the increase in proficiency, he could basically deduce that this was a golden piece of equipment. But 8,000 is far from enough to upgrade. Read on. Black Turtle Shield, increase proficiency. This damn thing must be a holy weapon. Ye Chen's eyes widened, and he couldn't help but feel agitated in his heart. He quickly checked the properties of the Black Turtle Shield. Black Turtle Shield, Holy Artifact. Level 15. Physical defense add 450. Magic defense add 300. Strength add 200. Physical strength add 200. Additional skills, Turtle Guardian, instant cast, summons a 5-yard phantom of a turtle, defense 1000%, duration 5 seconds. Cooling time, 1 hour. Hiss. Looking at the attributes of the holy weapon, Ye Chen couldn't help but gasp. Although this holy weapon is not a dagger that he can equip, but now that a top-quality giant shield has exploded, he will only be even more delighted. If a tank is equipped with this Black Turtle Shield, it will be like a humanoid Black Turtle Shield. Super high double defense, add 200 physical strength. One piece of equipment adds 2000 HP points, plus the additional skill of Turtle Guardian. What does it mean to be a real man for 5 seconds? The summoned turtle shadow is 5 yards in size. It is like a super large cover, covering all teammates inside. Show off with your teammates. Collectively, 5 seconds of real men. In this case, do you still need to carefully control the hatred when defeating the boss? It's not necessary at all, just fight with your eyes closed, throw around your skills casually, and still kill the boss. After getting the holy weapon, Ye Chen didn't even bother to look at the attributes of the Golden Beast King gun. Anyway, his team had no knights, so he would just throw it into the auction. Later, since his thief has reached LV10, he will definitely continue to steal. Another half hour passed, and he stole a large amount of purple equipment, including 3 pieces of gold equipment. At this moment, Suanwu only had his last trace of blood left. Ye Chen stopped stealing and started attacking crazily. At this time, of course, he also wanted to grab the first kill. At the same time, he also wants to take some Suanwu's precious blood and feed it to the blood tree. He doesn't know what kind of effect it will have. It's a pity that his wish came true instantly, because with his current strength, he couldn't cut Suanwu's scales. 3 minutes later. Ouch! Suanwu screamed sadly, and the dragon head fell to the ground. At the same time, a certain player in the crowd below was flashing white lights one after another. Ye Chen didn't have a detailed count, at least 5. In other words, that lucky guy was upgraded to at least 5 levels in a row. His grandma couldn't level up 1 level in a day, but this guy was leveled up to 5 levels in an instant. And he was the one who defeated Suanwu with the last blow, which means that everything Suanwu dropped belongs to him. Of course, if he doesn't pick it up within half an hour, the equipment will become ownerless items, and anyone can pick it up by then. At this moment, countless players in the front row took crazy shots, aiming at the place where the white light flashed, and bombarded them. That kind of power was 100 times more powerful than when they dealt with Suanwu before. The human heart is sinister. That guy must be dead, because the area where the white light flashed was completely empty. Not only him, but also many innocent people were implicated. Haha, all the Suanwu blast equipment belongs to me. Who the hell is trying to steal it from me? Ah. Next, Suanwu has obviously died, but now no player has left. In this half hour, not only will no one leave, but more people will rush in. The first kill counts? It's just a little experience reward. The equipment released by Suanwu is truly valuable. At this moment, some arrogant players began to speak arrogantly, but before they could finish their words, they would be killed by the people around them. Suddenly, the collective of hundreds of millions of players became eerily quiet, and the atmosphere was dull and depressing. Especially the people in the front row, their eyes were red and dangerous as they stared at the people around them. The players in the back row, with twinkling eyes, only need one person to take the lead, and they will bombard the people in the front row. However, suddenly a loud roar broke the silence. There are so many things that Suanwu explodes. A word that wakes up the dreamer. Everyone hurriedly looked up and saw Suanwu's huge body disappearing. On the ground, apart from a large number of coins, there were only a few scattered items. Suanwu, as a holy beast, was killed for the first time at this moment. At that moment, a dazzling golden light indeed flashed out. However, there is no continuous flicker. In other words, Suanwu didn't even break out a single golden piece of equipment. More than just golden equipment. Everyone looked over and almost vomited blood in anger. They saw the items in front of them, blue sky and white clouds. There was not even a single purple item. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Everyone had a dog expression on their faces. Boss Suanwu, you are a holy beast after all, and you were killed first. How can you not drop thousands of items? Okay, you are arrogant. We can tolerate that you only drop 10 equipment, but at least they are all purple equipment or above, right? Even if there is no holy weapon, you should have 2 or 3 gold equipment, right? What is it now? All blue sky and white clouds, not even a single purple item? Everyone was so depressed that they wanted to cry. Billions of players gathered together and spent more than a day to finally defeat Suanwu, but they only dropped such a little bit of shit. Suanwu, your grandmother. Bayun City Broadcast Initiator, I am the best. Damn, Suinwu can't just drop these garbage, more good things must have been stolen by Yeshen. Bayun City Broadcast Initiator, cool as a dog. That's right, that guy, he stayed on Suinwu's back as long as we fought, he must have stolen all the good stuff. Bayun City Broadcast Initiator, Gao Xiao Dam Yeshen, brothers and sisters, when you see Yeshen, don't hold back, fight him to death, we are the first in the Hall of Fame to look down on him. For a while, countless local tyrants began to broadcast crazily, completely targeting Yeshen. Everyone began to murmur in their hearts. Logically speaking, Suinwu really couldn't have only dropped that little garbage. So that means Yeshen must have got a lot of good stuff. At this moment, they all hated Yeshen to the bone. But this is not the key. The most important thing is, did he steal the holy weapon? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, B.A. Wang Shi-san. Chapter 129. Suinwu City Broadcast Initiator, not guilty Yeshen, I just want to ask, have you stolen the sacred weapon? Suddenly, the innocent broadcast sounded. This sentence simply asked the thoughts of the majority of players, and many local tycoons stopped browsing the screen in order to save their face. Everyone was waiting for Yeshen's answer and felt very conflicted. If Yeshen hadn't stolen the sacred weapon, they would have felt unwilling to do so. After all, they finally killed Suinwu and it was the first kill. How could they be reconciled without the sacred weapon? But if they really steal the holy weapon, they will be jealous and crazy, and will regard Yeshen as a thorn in their side. Searched Can on Google. On the other side, Yeshen had already returned to Bayun City and was stunned by the sudden announcement. To be honest, he did not expect that things would develop to this point. Now, if he does not give an explanation, I am afraid that all the players will collectively target him. Yeshen doesn't think it's a big deal if he offends innocents or Xinyu, it's just tens of thousands of people. They can't stop themselves in Bayun City. If they open up more main cities in the future, it will be even more difficult for them to stop themselves. But if he offends all players, then there will be no place for him. Not only him, but his elite group will also be implicated. It's not that he's afraid, Yeshen just doesn't think it's necessary. Why bother? Making money silently is the way to go. Is it necessary to expand to that point? So, Yeshen laughed sullenly, bound his account to the system, and spent 10,000 to send a broadcast. Bayun City Broadcasting Initiator, Yeshen brothers and sisters, Suinwu is too damn stingy, I did not steal the holy weapon of course, I stole 3 pieces of golden equipment, the Beast King's gun, the dragon pattern armor, and the dragon pattern sword. I have put these 3 pieces of gold equipment on the auction house. Interested tycoons are welcome to bid. Clear the broadcast, and don't forget to hit GG. The routine is too deep. Let me tell you, how can a sacred weapon be stolen so easily? For a time, the majority of players breathed a sigh of relief. Although they were still unhappy with Yeshen, the level was much reduced. However, Sinless eyes were fixed. He was obviously not as easy to fool as ordinary people, and he had already fully experienced Yeshen's cunning just now. In other words, Yeshen said that he did not steal the sacred artifact, so he did not rule out the possibility of lying. But even if Yeshen really steals the sacred artifact, what can he do? He knew that it was impossible for Yeshen to sell the sacred artifact to him. If that kid really stole the holy weapon, he probably wouldn't be able to equip it. Wu Xian thought to himself. Dream World has an equipment ranking list. Some top quality equipment will not appear on the list immediately after it is released. Players need to equip it before they can enter the list. There is no holy weapon in the equipment rankings at this moment, so I can conclude that I am not guilty. Go ahead and tell everyone to pay close attention to the equipment rankings. In addition, you have stepped up the efforts to contain Yeshen. Not only him, but also players who have had any contact with him, including Huo Wu, after seeing him, directly surround him and chop him to death, Sinless ordered coldly. Yes. All the senior executives were shocked. Afterwards, Wu Ziwei looked back at the blue sky and white clouds bursting in front of him, his face turned cold again, he snorted and led his team to leave. At the same time, a large number of players also returned to the city and left. It's just some blue, green, and white items. There's no need for them to wait 30 minutes. After a long time, the crowd dispersed. The big event is over. As a holy beast, the Suanwua beast soul has a refresh interval of up to 1 month, and it has lost one of its health, so it is impossible for it to cause such a sensation again. More than half an hour later, a fat and white boy came to this area again. Looking at the deserted battlefield, even the equipment that he apparently exploded, there was nothing left. Yes, he is the lucky guy, and he is also an unlucky guy. He killed Suanwua with the last blow and leveled up 5 levels in a row, reaching level 18. Then, before he even had time to take a look at the exploded equipment, he was ruthlessly killed and dropped back to level 17. Even so, he is still in the light camp, number 1 in the level rankings, the running baby. Wow, all my equipment has been robbed by others. Bao muttered and sat down on the ground depressedly. Then he angrily sent a private message to Yeshen. Brother Yeshen, you are so lucky. You stole so much good equipment. What about me? I obviously killed Suanwua, but I didn't get anything. Bao sent the message, but on the other side, Yeshen had nothing to do. He happened to see the private chat and immediately became happy. Running baby. Looking at the ID of the sender of the message, Yeshen looked weird. This baby is not an ordinary person, nothing else, but very lucky. In his previous life, Yeshen had heard of his prestige. This little fat guy's luck can be described as unparalleled. As long as he is in a group and fights bosses and clears dungeons, the chance of finding good things will increase exponentially. Moreover, this little fat guy has poor skills. He likes to wander around when he has nothing to do, and triggers high-level tasks at every turn. When besieging others to fight the boss, he can always complete the final blow. After many players came into contact with him, they couldn't help but suspect that Dream World must have the 7th hidden attribute, luck. What's more, ask official customer service directly. However, the customer service was very arrogant and too lazy to explain. They just replied in a routine way, the secret of the game, please explore it by yourself, I wish you a happy game. Damn, this is a bird attitude. No one bought it at all, so more and more people went to ask and harass. Finally, one of the 10 giants, or even the dragon head, the Merchant Alliance. The leader of the Merchant Alliance, Shang Wang, asked in person, okay, don't give me any ink, chirp, just say yes or no. Do you want me to invite 100,000 brothers to your company for tea? Shang Wang was so strong and domineering that it was said that he scared the customer service girl to tears. In the end, it was the senior executives who responded in person and politely, Dream World has no lucky attributes. So, everyone looked at Bao more and more strangely. This kid is born with super luck. Later, Shang Wang personally invited Bao to sit on the senior management of his Merchant Alliance. It is said that Shang Wang also gave him a certain amount of shares. It can be imagined how much Shang Wang values him. Baby, I'm wrong. How's your equipment now? Come on, I'll give you a set of level 15 purple equipment. Yeshen was so happy in his heart, but he said it righteously. Really? Thank you, big brother Yeshen. I'll listen to you in the future, baby shouted in surprise. Okay, very good. The strongest assassin in the server. Author, Ba Wang Shi-san. Chapter 130. Brother Yeshen, 3 pieces of gold equipment, you have squeezed Suanwu dry, so awesome. Moving, Shitu and others sent congratulatory messages. Yechen smiled and replied one by one. Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. When asked when he would take them to Super God again, Yechen explained the feud with Wu Ziwei, and there was no chance for the time being, so he let them level up on their own. Then, Yechen came to the warehouse, and he was happy to make a lot of money, so he spent 5,000 yuan to upgrade his personal warehouse to the maximum level. The length, width, and height are all 20 yards, which is quite a large space, like a big house. Yechen took out the black turtle shield and put it in the warehouse. He would not take it out until the tank was really upgraded to level 15. Because premature exposure would cause unnecessary trouble or even danger. Then, he took out the collected animal blood and irrigated the blood tree. Bottles of animal blood were poured in, and the blood tree trembled with comfort. Not long after, it reached level 15, and the feedback power, from 10% increase in each attribute to 15%. However, Yechen continued to irrigate, and although the blood tree was still trembling with excitement, it refused to upgrade anyway. Could it be that its level cannot exceed mine? Yechen was stunned and could only think of a vague answer. However, cultivating blood trees is not something that can be done overnight. Yechen did not care. He shook his head and left the warehouse. Not long after, a white and fat big boy came over. It was Bao Bao. He was not very fat, but his face and body had a little baby fat, and he was very white, which made people feel kind. Yechen kept his promise. A set of level 15 purple clothes moved Bao Bao very much. Because Huo Wu was not online today, Yechen contacted Tank and others, and then took Bao Bao to the ancient ruins to brush boss. Hey, where did this little fat guy come from? Bao Bao was about 13 or 14 years old. As soon as he arrived, he became the target of everyone's teasing. It can be seen that everyone likes him very much. When brushing the boss, this kid's skills were terrible, but he rushed very fiercely. If it weren't for Tank to grab the hatred in time, he would probably have died several times. Level 17 Berserker. Baby, I really don't understand how you got to this level, Tank asked in confusion. It was him who killed Suanwu with the last blow. Yechen laughed. Tisk, no wonder, this luck is the best. Tank and others looked at the giggling baby and exclaimed. Not long after, the first boss Medusa was pushed, and it was no surprise that baby took the last blow again. Of course, in the case of a team, everyone can share experience. But the last blower will definitely have the most experience. After killing the boss, baby squatted down and touched under the boss corpse, purple equipment. I'm so depressed. I have bad luck. With so many of us playing together, we only got one purple equipment. Bao Bao sighed. Huh. Everyone looked at each other in bewilderment. In the case of not being the first kill, a purple equipment was dropped by playing any boss. Is this bad luck? Are you kidding me? 3 hours later, all the bosses within level 2 were pushed, and everyone was surprised to find that the income suddenly increased by 2 or 3 times. Haha, Xiaopang, you are simply our lucky general. Don't worry, I won't compete with you for the last blow in the future. Tank was overjoyed. You can't compete with me again. Bao Bao smiled. Tank's face darkened when he heard this, and everyone laughed. At the same time, during these 3 hours, many local tyrants sent private messages to Yechen. The 3 gold equipment were also traded, and nearly 100,000 RMB was deposited. At this pace, plus the income from reselling purple equipment, he can become a millionaire in at most half a month. What happened to the fire dance goddess? She hasn't been online all day today, and I haven't even seen Suanwu. Tank asked. Maybe something happened at home. Yechen sighed secretly. Wu Ziwei seemed to have mentioned at that time that the company of the Fire Dance family was facing bankruptcy. Forget it, let's not wait for her. Tank, has your alliance's S-level mission been refreshed? If it has been refreshed, let's do yours first. It has been refreshed. Let me go to save Ian, the son of the Lord of Bayun City, but no one knows where Ian is now. It's just that on the night of the full moon last month, Ian turned into a black wolf and escaped from Bayun City, Tank said depressedly. Some S-level missions are so hummed up. You know the facts but not the reasons. It really takes a lot of luck to complete them. Ziyi Chen was also confused. In his previous life, he entered the game 2 years late. Because of his love for the thief profession, he read all the posts he could find on the internet several times, including some mission strategies from 2 years ago. But he didn't care so much about the alliance missions of other professions. Transformed into a black wolf? The son of our Bayun City Lord is a wolf demon, babies shouted. Don't get excited, it's not a wolf demon, it's an orc. Ye Chen smiled and explained, in Dream World, humans are not dominant. All races are equal. There are no racial disputes, only different beliefs and camps. So that's how it is. I originally thought that at least the Lord of the main city would be a powerful human, but it seems that I was too naive. Baby smiled shyly, and then said, but as for the black wolf, I have seen one in the dark forest. Huh. Everyone was surprised and happy, and Tank was so excited that he gave the baby a bear hug. Afterwards, the large group set off and arrived at the dark forest about half an hour later. Ian is a black wolf. Now that he has turned into a black wolf after going berserk, he is likely to look for a wolf pack. So let's go to the territory of the Silver Moon Wind Wolf in front to take a look, Ye Chen said. The orcs are actually divided into many types. Of course, the orc players are the most ordinary orcs. They just have the genes of wild beasts and become stronger. Tank is an orc. He is already strong and looks even more burly, with golden hair all over his body. His head is similar to that of humans, and his facial features look more three-dimensional. The rest of the orc players are the same. But some special orc NPCs have hidden races, called alien species. Ian and his city lord father are black wolf alien species. Of course, orc players who complete certain hidden tasks by chance also have the opportunity to transfer to alien species. This is a privilege of orcs. Other races cannot enjoy it. Soon, Ye Chen led the team to the territory of the Silver Moon Wind Wolf. The sounds of fierce fighting and wolf howling came. Everyone was startled and hurried over, only to find that a well-equipped team was besieging a black wolf. The black wolf was more than 3 yards long, with scarlet eyes that were extremely cold, and possessed a power that ordinary bosses did not have.